Here we go.
I don't know and no. So I don't know. I don't think there's been...
Can I ask you a follow-up on Angola?
One question.
It's so surprising that you don't you are receiving an African leader and you can't take a question from an African journalist.
We can end this. Sorry, I have one question. Basically, John Senator Marco Rubio.
It's not about ending the briefing. I want to ask an African question because you are receiving an African
question.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
All right, if we can end this briefing if it's not going to be respectful here. Chris.
That's what I'm saying. You are receiving an African leader and you don't take questions.
Thanks, everybody.
I have a question about gas prices.
Thanks, everybody.
Can we do one about the falling gas prices?
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Really quickly, Chris, I gotta go to the back too.
What impact has the shooting the Hamas taking credit for in Jerusalem had on the efforts to extend the humanitarian pauses? And is the U.S. goal to turn these pauses into a more permanent ceasefire? Is that the overall trend line that the U.S. is going for?
I don't know and no. So I don't know. I don't think there's been... I don't think there's been any effect... Not that I've heard or seen effect on the deal, extending the deal by the violence in Jerusalem. I've seen nothing that indicates an effect on that.
I got it. Go.
And again, we do not support a permanent ceasefire at this time. We do support the idea of humanitarian pauses, and we would love to see, as I said at the outset, we want to see this 7-day pause turn into 8, 9, 10, and beyond. But ultimately, that's going to take Israel and Hamas to agree to the parameters of extending that deal. But in the United States, they'll continue to find an advocate for extension.
And how is the alleged plot by an Indian government official to assassinate somebody on U.S. soil, how has that affected U.S.-Indian relations, given that, the president recently hosted Modi for a state dinner, relations have been trying to improve, tighten those relations. What impact does that plot have?
I remind you the state dinner happened before we knew about this. And I want to be careful here that I don't get ahead of the Department of Justice and talk about an ongoing investigation. I would just say two things. India remains a strategic partner, and we're going to continue to work to improve and strengthen that strategic partnership with India. At the same time, we take this very seriously. These allegations and this investigation, take it very seriously. And we're glad to see that the Indians are too, by announcing their own efforts to investigate this. And we've been clear that we want to see anybody held, that's responsible for these alleged crimes to be held properly accountable.
Thank you. On Venezuela, I wanted to ask about today is the deadline that the administration set for the Venezuelan government to make progress on certain things. One of them lifting the public bans of political opposition leaders who cannot run in elections, start the process to release wrongfully detained Americans. So my question is, have you seen any progress, and is the U.S. prepared to reimpose sanctions, which was the consequence of not seeing progress on this?
I haven't seen any progress yet. There's 8 hours left in the day, so we'll see what the Venezuelans decide to do, and I won't get ahead of decisions about sanctions one way or the other going forward.
What the hell is the world coming to?
Thank you. I have a few questions about Angola. As you know, this exciting libido corridor runs through a part of the DRC that's been embroiled in secessionist, violent conflict since 1960. Can the libido corridor work without peace in that region? And then to that point, how is the White House supporting President Lorenzo in his work as AU peace envoy to bring about peace? And then also, how is the administration engaging bilaterally?
I'm on a time clock here.
This is the second to last one. Sorry.
I should write these down.
The administration engaging bilaterally and multilaterally with Great Lakes leaders to bring about peace? And then finally, what's the president's message to President Lorenzo about his country's poor human rights track record?
So look, I'm going to try to boil this down. Otherwise, I'm going to be in big trouble. So,
It's the president's time.
exactly. Me too. This is a relationship that has been improving now, as I said, over the last year. And the president's very much looking forward to this meeting with the Angolan president. There's a lot of ground to cover. So we never shy away from talking about human rights. The president routinely brings that up. I won't get ahead of the president, and we'll have a readout. But he never shies away from talking about human rights when he's talking to foreign leaders. Number two, we welcome President Lourenco's efforts to foster peace. I said that at the opening statement. His efforts on the continent to improve peace and security and stability are welcome. And I'm absolutely certain that the two leaders will talk about that today and the prospects for that and where that's going, including in the DRC. And number three, on the libido corridor, the president's very excited about this. This is a real landmark effort as part of PGI and helping lower and middle income countries find sustainable investments in their infrastructure that can not only create jobs but also open up economic opportunities, in this case, all across that southern part of sub-Saharan Africa. So it's very exciting, and we're gonna keep pushing forward with it.
Thank you very much, Corinne, and thank you, John. Two very brief questions related to foreign policy. One, has the president had discussions with Speaker Johnson akin to those he had with Speaker McCarthy about the supplemental on Ukraine standing alone, and is the price tag on it 60 billion or 47 billion at this point?
I have to get back to you on whether there was a specific conversation with the speaker on the supplemental. That said, we have had numerous discussions and briefings with members of Congress and staff members about the importance of the supplemental and moving on all four of those buckets. Israel, Ukraine, the Indo-Pacific, and border security. We want to see them act as quickly as possible on that. And the total numbers are on the web to see, but